Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Referee for this event, Brian Cunningham.
Both fighters here have yet to taste loss.
6'1", 155 from the Beta Academy. Now, is this one of your guys there? Is it fighting out of Beta?
It is, and if I can speak for him, it is Sunni Imhotep, not Sunny.
You can.
And he is just an incredibly well-rounded fighter. Really like, though, listen, he is very strong on top when he's passing, if he can get the takedown, but I really like his half-guard game. That's where you really want to watch him.
Now, Tevin Cooke, 5'10", 155 out of the MMA Institute with a record of 3-0. He's well-rounded wrestling background, very strong, athletic. This should be a pretty technical match. And I've seen Sunni fight a couple of times, 3-1 in the Muay Thai. So, you know, this ought to be a fun fight. This was gonna. I was under the impression this was the main event. So until we saw the guy get kicked in the stomach and start vomiting everywhere, I'm guessing that.
Yeah, we're gonna see definitely another great fight. You know, MMA Institute in Virginia. You know, they have a great academies out there, and they come to bang. So you're gonna see, you know, Sunni really put it on Tevin, but Tevin's gonna put it on Sunni as well.
Look at this, while they clean up and go back to the last shot, because they're letting everybody see Luke and Kyle here, and talk about some different. Can you guys flip it back to the other screen since they were watching this, guys? But you guys got some great hair. Look at this. This is we ended up with.
I like that beard he's got.
Yeah,
like
mullet man, and now we're looking at Luke Thomas. Who
I'm 35, and I look 70.
No, but you look good, man. You look great, brother. I just shaved for this show, man. You couldn't do that for me.
People go, do you have do you use Just for Men in my beard? I'm like, do you see the white in it?
Well, you look great, man.
All right, here we go. Start of round number 1 of this 5-minute round. Sunni in the red gloves, Sunni in the red gloves, Tevin in the blue gloves. Now, I met Tevin's dad earlier today. Tevin's dad is actually a retired police officer out of Fairfax County. Going to be a major part of the World Police and Fire Games. I don't know if you know that that's coming there, Luke, but 12,000 competitors coming up in 2015.
Wow. Tevin getting an early takedown here on Sunni.
Yeah, Sunni can sometimes be a bit of a late starter. Not that he's not there, not that he's not ready to go, but sometimes he's a bit of a wake-up call, and I wonder if maybe this might be it.
A lot of pacing here we've seen with the guys, and like you said, with the amateurs, you know, before in the past when I was calling these, like you said, back in 08, 09, even though it's 5 minutes, they'd come out and they'd throw blows and be tired. We've seen a lot of guys go the distance in these 5-minute fights, and 15 minutes is no joke.
And not even go distance. Look what just happened. Sunni blocking the crossface, getting the knee shield in, returning, and now jumping guillotine.
If he can get some kind of lock here with the legs, but didn't have it, Tevin protecting very well, keeping that chin in, protecting those arms from coming across. But yeah, Sunni's trying to warm up a little bit.
Right. In 2008, this was unheard of in amateur MMA.
Absolutely. There's no right bow, right straight, I guess you want to say. A little push kick from Tevin. Sunni still calm. Doesn't even look like he's sweating yet.
Somebody just tweeted me and said that the video of Jeff Melvin's throw up is already on YouTube.
Wow.
I mean, why would you not put that on YouTube?
And that's gonna go all over, man.
For all its glory and horror.
Yeah, that might put us on the map. We might make SportsCenter not top 10 for that.
You never know.
Sunni looks much taller at 6'1" than 5'10", and I don't know, is he 6'1" or he looks taller than?
No, he's very tall.
Oh, he slap to the head, but
see that real
Tevin's fine. It hit with the top of the toe. Tevin might get this takedown again, but good by Sunni, keeping that right leg in. See that hook that he's doing with the left leg? Good, another throw by Tevin down. See how he works here. Side control. See what he wants to do here. Does he want to work to mount? Does he want to keep side control? If he gets mount, he will have Sunni against the cage a little bit, but you know, Sunni is staying calm, turned away from him. Does he want to walk around, come out back, or does he want to turn into him, pull guard? See how
Sunni's probably pretty calm here.
But he doesn't want to lose this round, Luke.
No, of course not. Who wants to lose a round? Who wants to lose a
no,
fight?
But that's what I'm saying. So he can't stay calm. I mean, the first time, okay, but this time it looks like you need to do something.
Listen, MMA is a proactive sport. You only win. Listen, the guys who are the most consistent on offense win in this sport.
Absolutely.
Defense is important, but truly speaking, it's not as important as offense. That being said, Sunni is a guy who stays calm throughout. And I think while it sometimes may not be to his benefit, on balance, it definitely is. He doesn't get rattled. And so for a guy at the amateur level, it's a thing that helps him buoy him to victory.
Absolutely. He still looks very calm. And Tevin continues to put it on him, though. I'm impressed with Tevin's. You know, he's really trying to put it on right now. Tevin is, I would say, taking control of this round so far. combo, but like you said, Sunni very calm. Has definitely a lower base with his striking. Needs to move a little more than Sunni does.
Sunni fighting out of the red corner, Tevin fighting out of the blue corner, the Beta Academy versus the MMA Institute. Round number 1.
Looks like Sunni's got some cool wraps on underneath those gloves, some really artistic wraps. That was a good kick, the body right there from Sunni. Didn't seem to affect Tevin too much.
Luke, do you end up in the gym with these guys? I mean, when you go out in your travels, how many MMA facilities do you end up in?
Not too many, you know. Like, obviously, I train with Sunni a fair amount. The #1 gym I train outside of my own is Marcelo Garcia's.
Nice.
Just because I pay the exorbitant gym fee to go up in there, but you know what? It's worth every penny.
Wow.
But you know what's funny? You know, I trained there maybe 2 weeks ago. Paid $40. Trained against their best blue belts and purple belts. Held my own. You know, got murdered a couple times, but held my own. And come back against Beta, against guys like Sunni, and I felt like Sunni is ready for this kind of competition.
Right.
Great triangles, great kimuras, great sweeps. We'll see what he does in the Muay Thai position, but obviously on the ground, I have utmost confidence in his ability.
10 seconds left in the round. Let's see what happens here. Both very calm still. Doesn't really end up breaking a sweat, really. Good little kick, but it was more of a slap.
That's the end of round number 1 here at OO Fights 32 in the DC Convention Center. Happy to have Luke Thomas along with us all the way through this title fight. Luke, a lot of things happen in the world of MMA. I mean, the biggest name in MMA that you look at right now happens to be Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, it is Ronda Rousey. It's so funny. You know, we saw some women compete her earlier tonight, and Ronda Rousey, though, having such a skill set that people just can't deal with. Not just judo, not just the kind of judo that works for MMA, but the judo that works for MMA, backed by a woman who was an Olympian in the sport, an incredible talent. I hope we can see more of that, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
The more kinds of backgrounds we can get into the sport, the better the sport will be.
And it's funny because when we had Henry Gracie up here, he's telling me that Ronda comes
I saw him earlier in the bathroom.
Yes, that's interesting.
He's huge,
yes.
by the way.
Tall cat, isn't he?
Yes.
And he was talking about Ronda coming out to his gym, and they were training her.
Yep.
And I asked her, I said, well, who do you get to train Ronda with? You know, who do you spar against? Got to get the guys.
Everybody. You don't. He knows this. You don't get good unless you spar against big, small, tall, fat, whatever it comes your way. That's how you learn body types. That's how you learn positions. That's how you learn winning.
Absolutely. That's why she's doing so great.
Round number 2, Brian Cunningham kicks him off. Imhotep, is that right? Am I saying that?
Imhotep.
Imhotep. I just wanted to make sure I'm saying that right. Versus Cooke. Cooke in the blue gloves. Sunni be wearing those red gloves. Sunni, sorry.
Another good takedown there. Tevin has about 3 takedowns so far this fight. See what he does here. I'm guessing he wants to keep that top pressure. He looks like he's trying to get that right leg out, that right knee come out, maybe work some kind of mount again, but controlling Sunni right there. But like you said, Sunni seems very comfortable. Very comfortable. He's been there many times in certain training.
Yeah, not taking too much damage here. I mean, obviously, listen, if you're in Sunni's position, you're like, well, I'm not going to get kimura'd. I'm not going to get too much ground and pound. But if you're the judge's position, you might say, well, you're underneath.
Absolutely.
Maybe get out on top, maybe reverse position, maybe waiter sweep. Find some way to get your base on top.
Right.
Now what you
Tevin walking around.
Speaking of judges, is there a huge difference between the judges between the guys here in DC and the GCA when you're out watching these fights, or is it pretty much the same standard?
It's judging is a difficult
Yes.
thing, and at all ranks and at all positions and at all sides of the cage and at all different levels of it, mixed martial arts, it's hard to get right. So. At every card you go to, there's going to be some questionable decisions, even if it's the best main event at a UFC event. Right. And even here, you're going to find sometimes you're going to sort of say, what happened here?
My first pro fight was actually right here in this room.
In this ballroom?
In this ballroom right here is my first pro fight was. And they said they had to go through the DC commission to get a lot of things passed and stuff like that. So it's a little different than the GCA because they're more, this MMA is fairly new to the DC area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, good little contact there, but Sunni pops right up.
So this is one of those cases where you say, listen, who is proactive on offense? Who is the guy who is initiating takedown offensives? Who is the guy who is initiating striking exchanges? And even if they're not necessarily the most effective, listen, who is judging this bout?
Absolutely.
Right. Here's the question. Like, if you finish the fight by TKO, no doubt about it. If you finish the fight by sub, no doubt about it. But if you don't,
goes to the cards, yeah.
Okay, it's partly performance art. even if it's not the most effective to you as you feeling it, man, that punch didn't land so hard.
Yeah.
But if it looked so hard, that's what ends up being the most effective thing. So if you're, this is a sport where being proactive on offense, getting out first, getting out after it, it really kind of matters.
Tevin with another body slam takedown. So, I mean, if you're watching this fight so far, you know, Luke, what do you see? Who do you have winning this fight so far? You would have to go with Tevin, or I know Sunni's your boy, but what are you seeing right now if you're a judge?
Listen, I'm Sunni's friend, and I think Sunni's in no trouble whatsoever.
Right.
But if I'm a judge, I'm thinking, well, the other gentleman is getting after. The other gentleman is initiating takedowns. If I'm being honest, that's probably going to weigh in the judges' minds. Again, though, Sunni looks not a mark on his face.
Absolutely.
Barely a beat of sweat on his body. Still, though, I would recommend get after it, affect change, force the other opponent to back up, make him hurt, take him down, do something that really matters.
See if Tevin gets another takedown here. There he goes, another slam. Wow.
And so, listen, we're in a question now, like, what do these takedowns matter? I'm on the major belief that takedowns do matter. Like, they do count. You didn't want to go there, and they put you there. That said, what do you do after the fact?
Absolutely.
Count the takedown, but then let's count what happens after the takedown.
So what's the? I mean, he's obviously got him in a position he doesn't want to be in. So what's his move here? I mean, has he got to get?
Well, he wants to get his head away from the cage, his spine away from the cage. He wants to, you know, maybe even work to, you know, move his body over so he can work the cage with his legs. He needs to come around because right now Tevin's just holding him right there. Not a lot of action going on. We'll see, you know, just with knees to the side, but. We'll see if Brian wants to stand them up a little bit, if nothing happens here for a little while.
Yeah, that's a couple of strong knees to the rib cage. Do those count as points when you're the judge? Do those knees or the rib cage count?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They can. This knee rod is excellent.
And he's coming out. He's walking up the cage. See how he's getting up? Getting steps up a little bit. Smart move. But Tevin's still controlling. So he does have his feet on the cage. See how he works that there. Tevin maybe looking to throw some right bows there. If he can just keep that forearm pressure in Sunni's neck. Once again, he's reestablished a good side control here. Sunni hasn't really turned away or turned into him, just to look for some escapes or pulling guard, half guard, stuff like that.
By the way, I always admire knees to the body of a grounded opponent. But why would you throw them with your right knee on the right side control?
Agreed. But he's working right now. Still, right now, mounted, full mount, 10 seconds. So he's going to want to rain some punches down here. You know, let the judges know, like, he's definitely controlling this fight so far. To the body behind, to the head. Nothing really hurting Sunni. Nothing. I mean, as you can see, there's no scratches yet. There's no hurt yet.
Listen, if Sunni loses, it'll be a battle of positional control.
Absolutely.
It won't be so much damage necessarily.
Yeah, but does Sunni come out this time? It was, I mean, as a second in here, he's standing here. He's got to tell him something. Hey,
listen.
If you're on the card, you're not looking too good.
I've seen him train it maybe 100 days. His takedown defense is excellent, but if he doesn't believe in it, it won't work.
Right.
I like to see him come out here, strike, establish a jab, establish some body kicks, and get his hips down low. It's up to him to make it work.
Yeah, I think Tevin's going to come out here and stick to what he's doing. You know, he's going to try to get that takedown again.
And why wouldn't he? It's working the whole time.
Absolutely. And he's going to try to get that side control and keep it. And if he does that, he wins this fight with flying colors. I think Sunni needs to know that he needs to start putting the pressure on him a little bit.
By the way, Sunni, you see him being coached here by Nakapon Pungaporn. Pedro Sauer black belt himself, who is the most athletic man I think I've ever met in my life. You have no idea how athletic he is. Sunni's got to get proactive here.
Yeah,
that's the reality here.
And I don't really know as much as you guys, but I got, just from a standard watching, it looks to me like Tevin was the aggressor here.
Listen, if the casual observer can sort of like decide what's one way or the other, then the definitive observer can probably go along with that.
Absolutely.
Sunni in the red gloves, Tevin in the blue. Or I'm sorry, Sunni in the red, Tevin in the blue. Round number 3 here of this title fight. This belt is empty.
Yeah,
Sunni can walk around with a belt on if he can get to pull this out here, Luke.
There you go. Sunni's trying to throw his hands. He gets a little more confidence in those hands, throwing those. There's another takedown by Tevin. That hurt him. He's quick with those. He's getting full mount here. And if he gets this, Sunni's coming out. Pulling a butterfly now to a half guard. But he's still against the cage. He can't really hip his body away because the cage is blocking that. Now he can extend out a little bit, but Tevin's keeping him tight.
Luke, does the Beta Academy have a cage for them to train in?
It does, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. It's tough for some of these amateurs because they don't get a shot to actually train in an actual cage.
Full ring, half cage.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity for you to get that done. But listen, MMA is hard. MMA is a very difficult sport to get done right. And there's so many variables. And again, I've told you, Sunni is, listen, triangled me, Kimura me. I think he hit a scissor sweep on me not more than a month ago, which is very embarrassing. But this is a sport where, listen, if you watch this as a observed practitioner, he's controlling, or at least the opponent is giving him posture anyway. Right. There's not much offense going on here, but he already established a takedown. So from the beginning of the round now, Sunni's finding out of a deficit, and that's just the reality of the game, fair or not fair. That's just how it works. The unified rules actually say this position is equal, but that's not really equal in the mind of the judges. You know, if you're on top, most judges say, well,
fine, send them back up.
Even the referee standing back up.
So now Sunni can apply some strikes again here and try to get something here, because right now he's got to know to start turning it on. And Tevin might get another takedown.
Well, Tevin with that body lock is really excellent, isn't he? He gets in on it, and he sort of dives for it and makes it happen.
So Sunni's got to know, it's about under 3 minutes left, I would say, at least.
Listen, it's do or die time. Either he's going to get a finish or he's not. Right. And that's going to be the way this bout goes. If he does not finish him, it's hard to see a way where he wins on the judges' scorecards.
Tevin holding on Sunni's right hand, not letting him get any underhooks and stuff like that, especially when he has that underhook with his right hand on Sunni. So we'll see what Tevin wants to do here. He's keeping his, skeletal system holding against that cage, not really extending a lot of muscle, but using that length of his body right now, keeping that pressure right into his chest.
But you know what? These are the bouts that you want. Like, in a way where if this bout doesn't go Sunni's way, okay, fair enough. You know what?
Absolutely.
You lost to a guy who had excellent wrestling. Right. So now you know where your deficiencies lie.
Absolutely.
You
learn a lot here.
You really have to sort of figure out, okay, this is the kind of guy who's going to give me trouble. Should I decide to pursue this career? And I know he's got the athleticism. You can see it physically. He's an excellent athlete.
And as an amateur fighter, you want to put yourself and be tested in this sort of thing. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And right now, Sunni's finding out. Tevin's still putting
in this region, you're going to get the best kind of testing available.
Absolutely. That's absolutely 100% correct. This region has a lot of good amateur fighters, as we've seen tonight.
And wrestling is it's a horrible skill set to deal with.
And we've
if
seen
it's not your, listen, if you, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like Arabic. Like, if you speak it, you have a region, or maybe Spanish or Chinese, whatever. If you speak it, it's a whole world open to you. If you do not, my friend, it is a very difficult slog.
Very frustrating.
And it's funny because we had talked about that at the beginning of this evening's event. The first 2 or 3 fights were actually wrestlers, like out of college wrestlers, state champions in high school, and you could tell they wanted to stay on the ground a lot.
And I'm not a believer. It's like, oh, he got 4 takedowns. What did he do with them? Well, if you got 4 takedowns, you didn't do much else.
Yeah. Yes.
He got 4 takedowns. Like, that kind of counts. And I'm a big believer in Sunni. I know what he's capable of. I've seen it. I've felt it. He's there. But it's an important lesson, it seems like, for him here.
Tevin Cooke, just a strong guy right here.
Tevin's really impressed me because he keeps throwing it at him. Even though he's not doing too much, he's still throwing knees. He's stomping on the foot of Sunni. Like, he's really trying to show he ain't stopping. The judges are gonna really rule in his favor right now.
Stopped. Listen, he has a limited skill set too. Let's sort of be honest about it. But the reality is, in wrestling, they always preach: if you're not attacking, you're defending. And he has that attacking mindset, and it's paying dividends for him.
About 5 seconds left. It's almost over. Sunni's got to swing for the fence on, but there it is. There it is.
Luke Thomas, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you got at least one fight in, because I know you were itching. I know you can't just be media just for part of the time.
Well, listen, this is my man, Sunni Imhotep. I have the utmost belief in him. He's got a bright future in mixed martial arts. Maybe today didn't go his way. Thank you so much for inviting me. By the way, another Beta Academy fighter fighting in not 1 but 2 fights. Later on in the card, I believe the main event, if I'm not mistaken.
Tom Scott.
Tom Scott, who, by the way, has a nasty half guard, if I can say it Mortal Kombat style. You know what? And by the way, here's a little story about Tom Scott. Missed his blue belt promotion because he left early.
Oh.
A guy who I believe, should be a blue belt under Nakman Punkaporn, a sensational grappler, but also throws great hands. Thank you so much for having me, guys, and this is a great event. So
Luke, it was great to see you. Stick around.
right, now we go to Kevin with the official scoring.